100 days after the trade agreement between the EU and the UK, the balance sheet turns out bitter. And the EU Parliament is still postponing ratifications. 100 days were enough to turn former partners into bitter adversaries. When the trade agreement between the UK and the EU was finally signed on Christmas Eve 2020, no one suspected that the already tense relations would soon lead to new rivalry. A trade agreement cannot replace membership in the internal market and the customs union. That became clear in the first few weeks, said the head of the Foreign Affairs Committee in the EU Parliament, David McAllister from the Christian Democratic Union and so from the EPP, to a German newspaper on Friday. Instead of smooth trading as before, there are now obstacles that have not existed for decades, he says. A survey by the German Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the DIHK, confirmed the anger that has arisen. German companies that export goods and services to UK alone are experiencing a bureaucratic explosion because around 10 million additional forms have to be filled out and submitted for export every year. Ulrich Hoppe, general manager of the German-British Chamber of Commerce and Industry, already spoke at the beginning of February that business relationships with the island are no longer worthwhile for smaller companies in view of the various additional costs. Katharina Barley from the Social Democrats in Germany, Vice President of the European Parliament and former Federal Minister of Justice, also draws a miserable balance sheet. She told a German newspaper, "The economic fears have been confirmed. According to the EU Statistics Office, EU exports to the United Kingdom fell by more than 30% in January compared to the previous month, and imports from the United Kingdom by almost 60%. Small and medium-sized companies in particular are struggling with the new rules, but once again, those rules are not new in general. Those rules are only new to the UK now. I'm making this clear in so many videos, and if I repeat myself, forgive me if you've heard that tons of times, but I need to because some people still comment really wrong stuff. Those rules are not newly made to punish the UK. Those rules are old rules. They just newly apply to the UK now because those rules apply to third countries from the EU. And the UK is a third country for the EU since January 1st. So for the UK, they are new since January 1st. But those rules are old. And the UK was part of the council that made those rules. If they didn't like stuff like that, they could have vetoed that for decades. But they never did. They agreed to those rules. And now complain because those rules they made apply to them. But that was just because of the Brexiteers trying to spill that fake news in the comments all the time. Those rules are not new in general. However, the full extent of the economic damage of the exit will only be clear in a few years, also due to the parallel effects of the COVID pandemic. But I'm personally sure they are harder than the pandemic damages. According to its latest forecast, the Commission expects that the exit will cost the United Kingdom almost 45 billion euros in economic output by the end of next year. In addition, there were taunts, especially from the side of London. It started with the UK's government refusal to grant full diplomatic recognition to the EU ambassador in London. This was followed by the propagandistic battle for the vaccine from AstraZeneca, which London obtained from EU production sites without even letting a British-made ampule into Europe. Nobody was really satisfied with the trade agreement from the end of last year, and that usually is a good sign. In this case, a good sign in a very bad situation. But what is the say that about a compromise? It's a good compromise if nobody is satisfied. Then it's a just compromise. But Barley had more to say. Many questions have not been clarified despite the exit agreement. The British government has unilaterally extended transitional provisions on trade with Northern Ireland in the exit agreement without consulting the EU. The Commission has therefore already started infringement proceedings against the United Kingdom. In fact, the implementation of the individual steps has been postponed by 6 months from London. The new rules for the import of products of animal origin will not take effect until October. The move has consequences. If the British government unilaterally terminates individual obligations under the Northern Ireland Protocol, this undermines valuable trust. These developments are being registered very precisely in the European Parliament. The decision as to when the plenary will vote on the Trade and Cooperation Agreement has not yet been made, says McAllister. Strictly speaking, the celebrated deal is only valid for the time being. A relapse is quite conceivable. The first voices from the ranks of the people's representatives are already warning of a no-deal situation if the text of the treaty is not ratified by the end of April. That is the current period that is agreed between the UK and the EU. It is the CTA is in effect provisionally, and it contains the fact that it either will be deleted, so to speak, when it's not ratified by all sides until February 28th, or if they say we delete it. But there was another text in there that many don't see, except both sides agree on an extension of the time for the ratification. And the extension now is until the end of April. And there are now several scenarios. The EU can ratify until then, so the EU Parliament. The EU Parliament can say we need another extension, and the UK grants it, or the EU Parliament can say we need another extension, and the UK won't give it. Perhaps you can write in the comment what you think is the most probable one. Very few believe that it can be done until the end of April. And this could have serious consequences for relations between London and the 27 EU countries. Strictly speaking, if the contract were overturned, everything that has been agreed so far would be wasted, says a leader in Parliament, although only for the CTA, not the Withdrawal Agreement. The Withdrawal Agreement is international law. It's ratified by all sides. That's why there's infringement proceedings now, because Johnson once again broke an international treaty with the EU. And so I'm saying that again because there are still too many people out there commenting and insulting people and don't even know the difference between the TCA and the Withdrawal Agreement. They are two completely different treaties. Talking about insults, by the way. I know the discussion is quite emotional. I know it's quite heated. But, and I'm saying this explicitly for all sides, because I have blocked comments from all sides every day in my comment section because YouTube stops them. Stop insulting people. You can discuss in a civilized manner, but stop using swear words at others. I will not repeat them all now, but you know exactly who I mean, you know exactly what I mean, and you don't. There's one special one who will know that I mean him. You don't have to end every sentence with a swear word, even if you don't direct it at someone. You don't have to end every comment with a swear word just to use the swear word. Stop it. And for those who reasonably want to be informed and discuss, please subscribe to my channel. Auf Wiedersehen.